Welcome back to the Mad Spideyverse. I'm Mad Spidey, and thank you once again for tuning into my channel. So earlier this year, I decided to do one of those like yearly goal collecting videos. Most people do them in January, usually at the start of the year. Say, look, this is what I want to achieve for the rest of the year, what I want to pick up, what I want to aim for, and things like that. I did mine a little bit later. I did mine, I think, late Feb, early March. But I basically listed a few individual books and a few runs that I wanted to be able to, like, that they were my main goals for the year. Like, I know there's still a month and a bit to go till the end of the year. But I thought I'd do like an update video or how did I go type video. I'll leave obviously that video, the link to that video, the original one from earlier this year in the end title screen. But yeah, I just thought, why the hell not? You know, I don't know what's going to happen in the next month with work being, you know, it gets into quite a busy time and things like that. So I thought, let's just do this video while I've got a bit of a chance to do it. So in a nutshell, pretty much the main goals that I had for this year was trying to cross off at the start of the year one of the 3 remaining ASM books that I need for my run. So with my Amazing Spider-Man run, I'm collecting the entire run, not just volume 1 or not just 1 to 100 or, you know, things like that. From 1 to current, so to right now, plus all the annuals. I only needed 3 books to start off with, so that was number 1, number 3, and number 4, so all big dollar books for me. The other goals I had was to pick up Marvel's Spotlight 5, first appearance of Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, to pick up Fantastic Four 48 and 49. I actually thought I had 50 already, but I don't. But we'll shelf that for the moment. But so yeah, mainly 48, 49, because I'm a big Silver Surfer fan as well. Always wanted those books. The other thing was to try and complete, generally try and complete all of them, but at least try and complete one of my Defenders run, my Invaders run, my Werewolf by Night run, or my Tomb of Dracula run. So this video will be basically just giving a quick update on how did I actually go this year. Obviously, I did pick up a lot of books this year. I went a little bit extra nuts this year. I did a lot of payoff sort of deals and things like that. I didn't really do much conventions, unfortunately. I did do one about a month ago. Actually, less than a month ago, a couple of weeks ago. Which was my first one for close to 12 months, I think. And yeah, had some lot of fun there, some other Aussie YouTubers there to have some fun with, and I picked up some cool books. So I've bashed away at some of the other runs that I have, and obviously I've still had these goals obviously in the back of my head, and you know, trying to achieve some of them. And yes, I did achieve some of them, just some of them, not all of them, just some of them, because yeah, it was quite an undertaking, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, update video on how it went. I was going to add some of the bigger books that I was able to pick up during the year, but I thought that just means I've got to dive through more boxes and try and find what I did and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, maybe I'll do a comic wish list wrap up video or something. I don't know. I'll come up with some idea anyway. But as I said, this is the main thing for this particular year. So the downers. I'll start with the downers before I go to the actual things achieved. So out of the runs that I mentioned, I was only able to complete one of those runs. So that's probably the main downer. The Defenders run was probably the biggest task because it is the biggest run out of all 4 of those runs. I thought I said I needed like 40 or 50 books, but it was a lot more than that. The run's about 160 or 170 books. I think I need something like 80 or 90 books or something. I think I got it down to around about the halfway mark. I still need those That's including the Marvel Feature 1, 2, and 3. I did not pick up any of those, unfortunately. They are not easy to find over here in Australia, and if you do, they're quite pricey, unfortunately. I can understand 1 being a little bit pricey, but 2 and 3 should not be so pricey. But anyway, so I missed out on those this year, unfortunately. So at some point, hopefully, I'll be able to pick them up. So yeah, Defenders Run, I knocked off some, but yeah, not a great chunk. Nothing to sort of go through the numbers and say, look, you know, I needed 80 books and now I'm at 20 or anything like that. I think I picked up maybe 10 or 20 issues at absolute most this year. Big shout out to my boy Sean, Zars Comics and Collectibles, or Zars Collectibles and Comics. He did graciously get me a #1 Defenders, which I did not have, so massive shout out to Sean. Thank you very much, mate. I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, that was a big undertaking, and I didn't think it was going to happen, so that's fine. My Werewolf by Night run, I think at the start of the year I needed something like 22 books or something like that. I've got it down to 11 books, so 7 of the regular run, and I didn't pick up any of the giant size werewolves, unfortunately, so I still need the 4 of those. So 11 books all up to complete that run. So I have knocked it down to about half of what I originally needed at the start of the year, so that's fantastic. Even happier, my Tomb of Dracula run, I only need 4 books. Only 4. I need 1 of the giant size Draculas, and I only need 3 in the regular run. 2 of them are just run filler stuff, so that's nice and easy, but number 3 is going to be a hard one. I've looked a couple of times, and I've only seen it pop up once or twice in the year, and people over here are trying to ask for a ridiculous amount of money. Like, it's the first appearance of Rachel Van Helsing. It's not a big key, really. You know, I'd pay 50 or 60 bucks for it, but people are asking 100, 150, $200 in, like a mid to low grade to mid raw, and I'm like, nah, it's just too much. So I'll just have to wait for that. But yeah, I was really happy with my Tomb of Dracula run. Only 4 books left, so that's fantastic. So once that's aside, getting on to the positives of the collecting goals for this year. I was able, now there was one run I didn't mention, and that's my Invaders run. When I went to that con a couple of weeks ago, I picked up the last book I needed for my Invaders run. So my Invaders run is done. That's all Invaders, the king size and the giant size, because that's all the annual sort of stuff they did. So over and done with. I don't need to worry about Invaders anymore. So fantastic. Thank you very much. Glad it's actually very... It feels like a sense of accomplishment when you actually complete a run, even if it is a small run that's only, you know, 40 something books. It is fantastic to actually be able to just complete a run in its entirety, including the annuals. A lot of people don't bother with annuals, but I'm just like, it's part of the run, I've got to collect it. So yeah, fantastic results there. The other things that I knocked off were Fantastic Four, 48 and 49. Super happy. Big shout out to my boy Michael, who I become good friends with through the Facebook comic groups in Australia. He's always sort of hitting me up every now and again saying, mate, I got a whole pile of old school books. Do you want to go through them before I put them up for sale and see what you want? And when I did that massive deal that took me like 6 months to pay it off, these 2 books were in there. Yes, they're low grade. Do I care? Hell no. They are complete. They are beautiful. And I'm glad I own them. So, yeah, massive shout out to Michael. I've been wanting these books for the longest of time. They've been super expensive. But, yeah, in that deal, these 2 books alone made the deal worth it. Like, obviously, there was some other really cool books, but these 2 especially made the deal. So, obviously, there's one last thing. one last thing to end this video with, and that is the ASM run. The infamous ASM run I've been going for well over 20 years doing this. Obviously, ebbing and flowing in and out, you know, sort of heavy collecting and then, you know, and then sort of dropping off and, you know, just getting the newer books and stuff like that. But yeah, obviously the start of the year, as I said, I needed 3 books, 3 big boy, big dollar books. Number 1, number 3, and number 4. Realistically, I wanted just to knock off 1. I would have loved to have knocked off all 3, but I knew that was never going to happen. I thought I might have had a chance at 2 at absolute most, but I was happy if I just got 1, and I got 1. So number 4, ASM, first appearance of Sandman, knocked off the list. So now I only need 2 books, the 2 most expensive books in the whole fucking run, and that's number 1 and number 3. But super stoked to get this. Obviously, I knocked off number 6 last year when I said I needed 4 books last year. I knocked off number 6, which was the 4th last book that I needed. Now I knocked off 4, so 2 left to go. So that is it for this year. Obviously, as I said, you never know what could happen in a month. Realistically, I probably won't be buying a lot more books in the next month, because obviously Christmas coming up. I get paid fortnightly, so for those people over in the States that have no idea what fortnightly means, that means every 2 weeks. So I probably only have 2 pays left before Christmas, which means I still need to, obviously, Christmas presents and all that sort of stuff, you know. So there probably won't be much. There is still a few boxes coming. So there'll be a couple of more Mad Mail calls before the end of the year. I have knocked off some of my other, like my normal comic wish list. And I've also knocked off one of my Jinx books. And for the uninformed, a Jinx book, should I say, for me, is a book that I've actively gone after or like bid on in auctions and things like that multiple times, and have lost every single time. The one that is coming is the biggest Jinx book for me. I've had people look for this book for me. I've tried this. I think this was my 5th or 6th time trying to get this book in recent years. It's not a big book. Yes, it is a key. It's not a big book, but it's a book that I've always wanted, and for some reason it's always eluded me. I've always been pipped at the post, you know, outbid by $1 or by a second or whichever. And finally got it. There are a couple of more Jinx books that I still haven't got, but you know, that may be another video altogether. So that includes concludes, should I say, the update on the collecting goals for this year. I did mention at the end of the video that I did actually have a YouTube goal as well. I did want to get up my hours, which I have done sufficiently. Obviously because of Spidey's Outback, the hours have dramatically increased, which is fantastic. But I also wanted to, I think when I did the video, I was at 560 or 570 subs or something. I think I said I'd needed 30 or 40 subs or something like that to get to 600. And I would have loved to have got to 600 by the end of the year. I have blown that out of the water, or for my standards, I'll say blow that out of the water. Don't take that in context, you know, like I was at 500, now I'm at 10,000. I wanted to hit 600. I've blown that out of the water. Obviously, I've done a recent giveaway, which helped a lot. Had a lot of great community members done some sub pushes for me, which is, just more than I could ever ask for. The community just gives back beyond measure. So I'm currently sitting at over 750 subs, so I'm way blown out, like almost 200 subs more than I thought I would ever get. So thank you to all the new subs, thank you to all the existing ones, the original ones. Thank you to everybody who hits the thumbs up, leaves comments, doing all that usual YouTube stuff. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. It means a lot. A lot of people say, oh yeah, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, blah, 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 blah. But it actually means a lot to me. It really does. I'm not monetized, so there's no money involved. I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this as a thing. Yeah, maybe one day it will happen. But yeah, just getting a couple of subs every now and again really means the world to me. It just means that, you know, people just want to watch my stuff. So anyway, this video has gone on way long as per normal. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you if you watched the whole entire video. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Do all the usual YouTube stuff. Hit the thumbs up. Leave a comment if you want to. But most of all, please hit that subscribe button. As I said, it means the world to me. So anyway, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and Spidey out.